right? But consistency, it will beat intensity anytime, any day, right? And you know what? It goes across even relationships too. If you're consistent with people and consistent with your children, consistent with your partner, that beats you being a jerk and then just showing up with a whole heap of flowers and a whole heap of jewelry and stuff. That's intensity, but you're not consistent. So the person still don't trust you. So it goes across all lines. And I want you guys to think about it for yourself. Now, what I was saying that I was thinking about saying to you, because I don't really want to dampen the live, but just to make the point. So remember the first point I made, and I said structure reduces chaos, right? A mind without routine is easily hijacked by distractions and by stress. Let me prove to you that that is true. This is one of the reasons why in prisons they have their routine so structured. And that's why that is one of the caveats, that not caveats, wrong word, Julia. That's one of the elements of it that make them be able to call it a rehabilitation center, right? Even though that is questionable with other factors. But the routines that they have the prisoners go through, pill call a certain time, lunch a certain time, dinner a certain time, it does not fluctuate. Breakfast a certain time, bedtime a certain time. It does not fluctuate. And the reason they do that is for to keep them in order, yes, but also it helps them to not go crazy there. You understand? Because if all of them riot and all of them go crazy, they outnumber the law enforcement. All right. So this shows you that structure really does reduce chaos. So can you imagine if you put some structure in your own life? Okay, it reduces chaos. Try it. You owe it to yourself. Try it. Right. So now we're going to go through. So true. Yeah, Merkaba. Exactly. So that's what I love to do in Merkaba. A lot of times when I read a lot of things, I like to think about what it is that, because I don't just take anything what people write for just as face value. I always think about it. So I always think about it and put it across different principles. And I say, you know what? It's true, Even though I knew this from before, right? But I didn't have the frame of reference because I read this a long time ago. I didn't have the frame of reference to think, oh yeah, I remember when visiting the prisons and stuff like that, like them and the officers telling you that they have a certain time for everything, right? It makes sense. Same thing with schools, a matter of fact. And there's a lot of similarities between the schools, how they're set up, and that, but that's a different life. Anyhow, let's move on. So we're going to go to the quotes, and then we're going to go through my explanations, and I gave some practical implications for them. All right. So quote 1, your routines are the scaffold that holds your mind together when life feels chaotic. See, that's not my quote. He said it, right? Now, explanation. This emphasizes routines as anchors during uncertainty. See, you can imagine why they have it there in prisons, right? So routines as anchors during uncertainty. So with them, you feel grounded. Without routines, you're tossed around